Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fleming Film Show. Me, Robbie Fleming. Join me always this lovely man from Los Angeles, Mr. Justin Boyle. Hello, Justin.
Hey, Rob, what's going on?
I'm good, I'm good. Before we kick into the show, there's a topic I wanted to ask you about because you're a massive wrestling fan. I wanted to hear your thoughts on the Vince McMahon thing. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner, to be honest. I mean, he was on SmackDown on Friday and he was on Raw last night on Monday, so he's not going away. He's just stepping down as CEO while they deal with these, allegations or whatever. But yeah, I mean, if you watched wrestling in the late '90s, early 2000s, it was very highly sexual, and Vince McMahon was at the head of it. So again, the fact that it hasn't been happened sooner, I'm surprised. Just because this is definitely. I mean, he's his best friend is Trump. Like this is what they do, right? I'm sure he was friends with Weinstein as well. So
Yeah.
um,
I've
yeah.
always thought there was something dodgy about McMahon.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't be a huge billionaire unless there's some dodginess going on, right?
Exactly. And on that note, we're going to be talking about our favourite film biopics today.
Yeah, you can either call it biopics or biopics. I don't know what's right or what's wrong, but yes, because Elvis is coming out this weekend, and also Lightyear came out last weekend, so we have a couple of biopics that are in our atmosphere right now.
You think Lightyear is a biopic?
Yes, it's how we found out how Buzz became Buzz. I mean, yeah.
Oh, because I went for biopics about real people.
I'm not. It's not on my list. I'm just saying that it should be considered a biopic because we know of Buzz Lightyear, and now we know his origin story.
True.
So,
Okay.
uh,
So do you want to kick things off with your number 10, or do you want me to kick things off with my number 10?
it doesn't matter. I think you went first last week, so maybe I'll go first this week just to mix it up a little bit.
Okay, hit me with your number 10.
Okay, my number 10. I was going back and forth between this and another movie, which will be in my also ran. And I'll explain why I didn't choose it. Let's see. Okay. Well, then I'll just explain. I was going to have The Duchess at my number 10, which is a period piece. But all of these are considered period pieces, but I think of that as like a period piece of a grander scale. Now I'm just talking about like a biopic of of a single person or of a group of some people. So that's why I took it off the list and focused more on a movie that gives, especially two actors, a bigger range of acting than they're normally used to. It's also a sports.
Sorry about
Bless
that.
you. It's also a sports drama, co-starring Mark Ruffalo, but starring Channing Tatum and Steve Carell. This is Foxcatcher at my number 10.
I've always wanted to watch this film. Tell me about Foxcatcher.
Yeah, so it's a U.S. Olympic wrestling champions. They're brothers. They joined Team Foxcatcher, and it's led by this eccentric millionaire. We're just talking about an eccentric millionaire who's Steve Carell, and they trained for the 1988 Olympic Games in Seoul, South Korea. But John has self-destructive behaviors, and that really consumes everybody in this movie. But wow, the performances that you get from, I mean, Mark Ruffalo is always solid, but the performance that we got from somebody like Steve Carell, like somebody who's always in the comedic game, to be one of the leads and focal points of this whole entire movie, and you forget that it's him. I mean, the makeup obviously did a really good job. Hair and makeup did a really good job, but he did a really good job of sinking into this character and becoming sadistic. He's not the normal sort of coach. And Channing Tatum, obviously he's in great shape, so he pulls off a wrestling background really well. And yeah, I just really like that it gave these actors opportunities to be in something that they're normally not in. This was nominated for 5 Oscars for Steve Carell as lead actor, Mark Ruffalo supporting director, writing, and makeup and hairstyling. Didn't win anything, but definitely deserves all of its nominations. This was one of my favorite movies that came out in 2014. And yeah, I think when you think of actors who act outside of their own box, this is definitely a movie that you have to think of. And that's why Foxcatcher is my number 10. Plus, I didn't know anything about this story. So, and the ending is crazy. So, anyways, highly recommend it, but it is my number 10 for Biopic.
Tell me the IMDb score and the box office on that one.
Thank you. 7.0 on IMDb. Box office, these movies tend not to do too well, but it was a budget of $24 million and it grossed $19.2 million. So it didn't make its money back, but a lot of those Oscar movies towards the end of the year, unless you're like American Sniper who just blows up out of nowhere, it's hard for you to get, a lot of money back. But
definitely, a lot of the films on here are more Oscar ones rather than just like blockbusters, because basically when they make biopics, they make them more for Oscars. That's why they get a really good actor in these roles and try and get them a nomination.
Yeah. Just real quick, Rotten Tomatoes 87%, audience score 66. So obviously the critics loved it.
Yes, it seems more like a critical pleaser than an audience pleaser.
Right. Okay. What's your number 10?
Right, my number 10 is a film that's won Best Actor, Best Director, and Best Cinematography. Should have also won Best Picture and Best Supporting Actor as well. This is about Hugh Glass. He was a frontier who was left to dead by his own men after he was getting attacked by a bear, and it's Inarritu's The Revenant.
Good choice.
Now, I have seen this film a few times, but my favourite experience of watching this movie is at the cinema. And when you've seen it at the cinema, if they ever re-release it in your town or country or whatever, you need to see this film in cinema release. It's gorgeous. And even though it is a long film, it's obviously Tom Hardy and Leonardo DiCaprio that still to show with their amazing performances. And obviously the directing, because of how good the cinematography is and how good the cast are, it's just perfect. And that's why I had to put this down at number 10. It was one of them I completely forgot was a biopic. So I decided to put it in the list because it still had an entertaining story to it.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think this was it was pulled from a story, and then they kind of turned it into a one person follow them show. But huge cast: Will Poulter, who's coming up big right now, also Donald Gleason, Lucas Haas, and Christopher Jonner. Yeah, I really like this movie. It was one of my favorite movies of that year as well. And it is gorgeous. It's definitely something that should be seen in theaters. And it shows because of its box office. But the stuff that happens in this movie is just things that you would never want to happen to you. No. You wouldn't even be able to think of to do some of these things that, for survival. Like, there's just no way. I guess you just don't know until it finally happens. But this movie is based on survival, and it's awesome. Really well done.
It is awesome and really well done. Really well done. It won 3 Oscars. Do you think it deserved the 3 it won?
It won for cinematography and actor.
And director.
And director, yeah, I do. Yeah. Nominated for a lot, though. It's nominated for production design, visual effects, sound editing, sound mixing, makeup and hairstyle, costume, editing, supporting role, and Best Picture. Yeah, that was a big year. You know, Inarritu is a solid bet. You know, like if he ever has anything that's up for Oscars, just bet on him because it's a solid bet.
I'm looking forward to his Mexican film coming out. Bardo, I think it's called.
Oh yeah. It's an 8.0 on IMDb. Box office budget 135 million. Worldwide gross 532 million.
Did this make your list?
It did not. And I mean, even if, because I did a lot of research, I didn't see this come up as a biopic. And even if, I don't think I still would have thought, you know, put it on there. Just, it's a great film, but I think these others are better in this genre that we're cooking up here.
Well, like I said, it's more of a cinematic experience. It's not the film you'd watch every day.
Oh yeah, it's a tough watch. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
78% on Rotten Tomatoes, 84% audience score. So that's pretty solid for audience. All right, here we go with my number 9. This movie hasn't been that. It didn't come out too long ago. Maybe we're looking about 5 years now. This movie is awesome. It is a biopic. It's also a comedy because of some of the actors in it. It's also a drama because of the circumstances. Nominated for 3 Oscars, and it won 1 for Best Supporting Actress because we had such a great performance by Allison Janney playing the mother of Margot Robbie in I, Tonya.
About Tonya Harding. I love this movie. It's really funny.
Yeah, about Tonya Harding. Yeah, so I was alive during this time when this all happened, and it was huge news going on. Something that everyone paid attention to. Yeah, so it's no spoiler, but Tonya Harding was somebody who, in the Olympics, took out her counterpart Nancy Kerrigan with hitting her in the knee, so she couldn't be a part of the competition, and that was a huge deal. So this movie is about Tonya and the reason why she did it and what happened, and
although she denies not being involved.
Right, or did she do it? Exactly. Paul Walter Hauser is the first time we've seen him, I think he's so funny as Sean. I mean, he's kind of this dim-witted, guy, but does a really, really good job. Yeah, he's so funny, and because of that, is now doing a lot of work, because he's a great actor. Also starring Sebastian Stan and Bobby Cannavale. Of course, Allison Janney. She was so great as her mother, Lavana. I mean, what a performance! Like she really. I mean, I don't even think that this was something like The Revenant, where maybe it was a Lifetime Oscar. No, she deserved her supporting role Oscar for acting, and she killed it. So, this director also did Cruella.
Yeah.
He's doing Cruella 2 coming out. Also, Chippendales, which is a TV show. But he also did $1 Million Arm, Mr. Woodcock, and Fright Night. Yeah. Also nominated for Best Actress was Margot Robbie, and Achievement in Film Editing. What do you think about I, Tonya?
I love it. It's one of the funniest films I've seen. Probably Margot Robbie's best performance.
Oh, completely agree. She's transformative. She looks just like her.
She does.
7.5 on IMDb. Box office budget was $11 million, and it grossed $53.9 million. So pretty good. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 90, audience score 88. So everyone's on equal consensus there. Yes, I, Tonya is my number 9.
Good choice. Now, for my number 9, it is sport related, but it's a tie.
What was it?
I have a tie between two movies.
Okay.
They're both sport-related movies. They're both films I love because they both have different messages, and it's hard to not include one or the other. It's between 2010's The Fight and 2021's King Richard.
Okay. So
The-
tell me about one of them.
So, which one do you want to hear first, The Fighter or King Richard?
Let's do the fighter since it's older.
Yes, so The Fighter is Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg, and these two brothers who are boxers. But Christian Bale's character is addicted to drugs, and it's affecting obviously him and his family life. Whereas Mark Wahlberg just wants to be the champion boxer, and it affects obviously everybody, like his girlfriend and obviously the family. But all four, what really drives this movie is the four performances from Wahlberg, Bale, Leo, and Amy Adams. They're all just perfect, and it's got a well-written script, and it's shot perfectly. Like the boxing scenes are amazing. Like, I did my boxing list the other day, and I did put Raging Bull, but I think I like The Fight a bit more because, there's obviously, I was thinking about what you said about like films being made after you were born. You have more relatability. I was alive when The Fighter came out.
Nice. And King Richard?
King Richard, I do like the screenplay, and I do understand what you mean. It is the performances that drive it because you have Will Smith and Ingenue Ellis. I think Ingenue Ellis is the best performance, but obviously Will Smith slapped Chris Rock and won the Oscar, didn't he? So, but yeah, I like the screenplay because it's a little bit more different to the sports biopics. It doesn't feel what's the word, generic or formulaic. It just feels like its own thing, and I'm kind of glad that it shows more Venus side to we know Serena more because we know she's world champion. We don't need to see her story. We just want to see Venus. She's the old one, and we want how she gets into tennis. And even though she loses at the end, she still goes on to become one of the best tennis players in the world. And I like his whole like messages about being humble and stuff. I just think this film needs to mention today because of its message.
And it's a tie. You couldn't even pick which one is better, huh?
No, I couldn't pick which one was better.
Yeah, the fighter is a little bit higher on my list, so I will talk more about that later. Yeah, King Richard is definitely performance driven, and it's like it's one of the newer sort of biopics out there. Meaning, like Venus and Serena aren't even dead. You know, they're still very much in their prime, killing it in tennis. So they're to get this before they've gone is sort of a treat. And it's almost tough to do too, it's because it's still so fresh and these people are still alive and you're still, they're actually judging your performance on how you do on them, so that's always tough. But what we do know is that Will Smith is a great actor. Despite whatever he does outside of the screen, he is an amazing actor and deserves everyone's praise. But yeah, 7.5 on IMDb. Unfortunately, this is a COVID movie, but was released on HBO Max and in theaters. Box office budget of 50 million. It grossed 38.4 worldwide.
I got to see this at an advance preview, so I was kind of happy to see it before everybody else.
You saw it in theaters?
Yeah, my theatre where I work.
Nice. 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, 98% for the viewers. So that's pretty good for the audience score. Almost a perfect movie in their eyes.
I just wish more people watched it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that was your number 9s?
Yep. There's no more ties
right.
after that. I normally try and have one tie a list, because normally you have a tie.
Well, yeah, sometimes I've had a tie. All right. Well, yeah, when we have 10, it's hard to make a tie. All right. we're continuing on with great actors killing it in a movie. This movie is about a struggling salesman who has his kid with him as he's trying to make a life-changing professional career. We're still talking about Will Smith because this is 2006, The Pursuit of Happiness with a Y. Will Smith playing Chris Gardner, and then having Jaden Smith play his actual son in the movie was groundbreaking. I mean, it first of all, it showed us what Jaden can do, and then secondly, like, Will not only is going to care about his performance, but care about his kid and his performance, and it really showed. The love and connection that these two had was written all over the screen. Will Smith as Chris Gardner was so likable, and you just really wanted to give him a hug, and you felt bad for him. You're like, I'll buy that off of you so you can have food for tonight. I mean, this guy would have to sleep in like bus bathrooms just so they had like a roof over the head. One of the saddest scenes is when him and his kid are in that bathroom and he's keeping it closed so nobody can come in there and they can just have a little bit of peace for a little bit. This movie is thrilling because you're on the edge of your seat because there's a lot of time restraints in this. But most of all, Will Smith and his son's connection is just amazing. And, Will Smith is nominated for Best Actor. He didn't win, but he deserved that nomination. And probably his best performance, maybe.
I still think he's better than King Richard.
I think that he's better in this one. But, it's just an amazing film. Have you seen this?
Yes, I have. It's Jaden Smith's best performance for definite. I'm not really keen on him, but so I'm with Will. But this is definitely better than the other film they acted in together.
Yeah.
I kind of like the dynamic of there and the story they have to go to with all the struggles. And like you said, you just want to give them a hug.
Yeah. This director also did 7 Pounds.
Great movie.
A great movie, and also starring Will Smith. 8.0 on IMDb. And box office was 55 million. Worldwide gross $307 million.
I just can't believe Will Smith gave up a really good career just to slap somebody around the face.
Well, I think it was in the moment he didn't know the repercussions. Rotten Tomatoes give it 67%. I disagree. Audience score 86.
I would disagree on that too.
Yeah. So my number 7 is The Pursuit of Happiness.
Do they mean your number 8?
9, 10, 9, 8. Yes, my number 8 is Pursuit of Happiness.
Right. That's a really good number 8. But my number 8 is a period drama. Now, I love period dramas, especially when they focus on kings and queens, because I find that stuff interesting.
Well, yeah, so that's the reason why I left The Duchess Office, because I think those movies they stand alone. Like, I think we should do a countdown on just those type of movies themselves. But
yes, we'll need to do like proper ones like that. But in the meantime, I'm going to give probably my favourite out of the bunch, and it's literally called The Favourite.
Good one.
This is about Queen Anne and her 2 servants. Olivia Colman plays Queen Anne. She won Best Actress, but she still has like a similar part to the other 2 films. Oh, hello, Sonny from Hollywood Town, by the way. He just sent a message.
Who?
Sonny from Hollywood Town. He's a YouTuber. He's done some work with me before.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah, so basically, Olivia Colman plays Queen Anne, won the Oscar, but she only really has the same kind of role as the other 2 leads do. This is more about them and Queen Anne's overseeing kind of things. So Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz played these two servants who are trying to compete to be the Queen's best servant. And what really makes this film is how weird it all is, from the production design to just little antics they get up to and stuff. This was my introduction to Yorgos Lanthimos. I love his other films, the weirdness like Lobster and Killing of a Sacred Deer, but I prefer the favourite out of all those movies, and I just think the favourite is a well-crafted biopic, and it's unique because of his directing.
Yeah, I love this film. I think all the girls are so good in this. Rachel Weisz, Emma Stone, Olivia Colman. They're all so good, and they know exactly who they are and what they're doing in this movie. Yeah, Nicholas Holt's also in it. And I would agree. I think this is my favorite Yargos movie. I mean, to have a woman-led movie and then have it work out is, I mean, and be a male director is awesome, you know, because not all of them can do it.
Because like the two main British actors, male actors, Nicholas Hoult and Mark Gatiss, they are really good actors, but they're actors that never really get to shine as the lead. But with these three, who we all know can shine as leads, especially in like comedic stuff.
Yes.
This is also my favourite Emma Stone performance because of how well she does the English accent. Like, she never sounds like she's one of them actresses doing a bad English accent. She actually sounds like she has an English accent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just really funny and fun. The way that it's shot is so unique. And yeah, the production design is so good, and the lighting is really, it's all natural, you know. It's by candlelight or it's by sunlight, so I always think that's beautiful.
Do you think do you like surrealism normally?
Yeah. Anything practical is great.
Yeah. Yeah, because I like how weird it is, the favourite. Did you add this on your list?
Nope. Not on
That's
my
a
list.
shame.
Yeah, well, it's just for the same reason I said before, but yeah, this is a good choice and nominated for a bunch of Oscars and only winning for Best Supporting or Best Actress.
I think it was my favourite out of the Best Picture winners that year.
But it went to Green Book.
Which is probably still just as funny.
Yeah, I think so. Also a biopic. Or a biopic.
Yes. What was the score for the favourite?
For IMDb is a 7.5. Box office budget is 15 million and worldwide gross 95.9. So pretty damn good. 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Audience score is 70. So critics loved it.
Yes, and I loved it too. So why don't you tell me your number 7 while I go for a cigarette?
All right. So my number 7 is also a critic's favorite, sitting at a pretty 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie it's sad. It's really, really sad because of its story, of its topic here. This movie came out in 2013, nominated for a bunch of Oscars. 6, 7, nominated for 10 Oscars, won 3, including Best Picture, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Writing. This movie came out in 2013, won Best Picture in 2014, and it's called 12 Years a Slave.
Right,
this is a biopic about Solomon Northup, who was a free black man in New York and is abducted and sold back into slavery in the antebellum United States. I mean, it's like going to jail for doing something you didn't. Well, it's not like that. I'm just saying, as an example, is like going to jail for something you didn't do. He's a free man and he has to be a slave, you know, and it's in the title, right? He's 12 years. He was a slave after being free. And this is just the story about it. This is directed by Steve McQueen. who's a great director, starring Chiwetel Ejiofor as Solomon Northup. Brad Pitt's also in this. Michael Fassbender, and then of course the Lupita Nyong'o, who won for Best Supporting Actress.
He's one of my favorites, Justin, Lupita.
Yeah, she's so good. Plus Paul Dano's in this. It's just and Quavenzine Wallace, who's great. Yeah, I mean the acting in this movie is beyond, right? I mean every actor in this really gave it their all, and it's also just it's sad because you know when you're free and you have to go back. Plus everything that they do to them, all the torturing, all the stuff that they make them, you know, do, and it's really embarrassing, you know. Or strip them of their clothes, have them, you know, be naked in a box. You know, watch as your wife gets raped.
This movie stars two of my favorite actors, Justin.
Michael Fassbender and Brad Pitt.
No, Brad Pitt and Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh yeah, yeah. Paul Giamatti is also in it.
Yeah.
It's just so well done. Production design. I'm sure they actually went to actual places that.
And Paul Dano's in it. He's also became one of my favorites recently.
Yeah, I mentioned him. But yeah, one for supporting actress, Lupita Nyong'o. One for Best Picture. Brad Pitt got his first
Oscar. Won the BAFTA for Best Actor.
And yeah, Best Writing. Chiwetel won the BAFTA, right? Yeah. Hans Zimmer was also. Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, this movie is phenomenal. Deserves its Best Picture win. Michael Fassbender was, you know, so good that he had the makeup department dab vodka on his beard so that he reeked of booze when he would be close to any of the other slaves, and that's why they disliked him so much more and made it so much real. So
nice.
Lots of stuff going on in this film, but it's definitely worth a biopic 7 slot, 12 Years a Slave.
Nice. My number 7.
Let me do it. It's 8.1 on IMDb. Box office, I know this is a bigger one, 20 million, and it grossed 187.7. I did say the Rotten Tomatoes score is 95% with an audience score of 90. On to your number 7.
Right, my number 7 is a much more recent movie. It came out in the UK this year. I think it's came out in the UK a lot more recently for you. This stars Mark Rylance, and it's The Phantom of the Open.
Nice.
So The Phantom of the Open is about Maurice Flitcroft, who's this English factory worker who decides to become a golfer. He decides to qualify for the Open Championship, but gets the worst score there, and it's the worst recorded score, and they try and ban him from their golf courses because of how crap he is. So he pretends to be different people in order to try and do it again. I love this film because it shows that you don't necessarily have to be a good athlete, but you have to try and get to where you want. It's like Eddie the Eagle or Cool Running. It's not about winning, it's about wanting to take part. And that's what Maurice stands for. He doesn't stand for winning, he stands for trying, giving it a go.
Yeah, I almost had Cool Runnings on my list. I love that movie. Yeah, I'm really excited to see this one. Mark Rylance has, 2 movies out right now as the outfit is out. But this is also starring Sally Hawkins and Rhys Ifans,
who are also great.
Yeah, and Craig Roberts is the director. Do we know him?
Yeah, Submarine, Bad, Neighbors.
Oh yeah, Neighbors. Interesting. Okay. He's also an actor, I guess. So, yeah, interesting. Cool. What else about this movie?
It's very British. It's written by the same guy who did Paddington, Simon Farnbury. He's a really funny comedian in the UK. He also makes a cameo appearance in this. And it's got a really good 70s soundtrack.
Yeah, this is out in theaters right now here. And it's one I want to see. I'm liking I see some of these photos here. It looks pretty good. And I don't want to watch the trailer, but the one thing I have seen is hilarious.
Nice.
7.3 on IMDb. Let's see. So far, doesn't show what its box office or what its budget was, but so far it's only made $2 million.
It was quite popular at my cinema, so I hope it gets popular in America.
Yeah, audience score is 88, and so is the Rotten Tomato score. So equal consensus there.
Yeah, because obviously The Duke came out this year as well, another British biopic with Jim Broadbent and Helen Mirren, and I had very high expectations for that and didn't really have much expectations for the Phantom of the Open, and it ended up being that I preferred Phantom of the Open.
Well, I still need to see both. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, they're both fun movies, regardless.
I'll have to check it out. Okay. My number 6 is, I mean, it's as biopic as it can possibly get. I had a hard time with this one because my number 5 I really like, and this one I really like as well, but I like number 5 for other reasons, but there is a connection. This movie is one of my older movies, starring one of the greatest actors there is, directed by one of the greatest directors there is, in my opinion, of course. This is an epic of controversial and influential Black nationalist leader named Malcolm X.
This is also on my list, just a little bit higher. This is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, starring Denzel Washington and directed by Spike Lee. I mean, there's almost not a bigger name that you can put, that you can do a biopic of. I mean, Malcolm X is one of the biggest names out there. Nominated for Best Actor and Best Costume, did not win, unfortunately.
How was it not nominated for Best Picture or Best Director?
Yeah, right? I mean, it's a 3-hour and 22-minute movie.
But the time goes so fast.
Yeah. I mean,
you're
especially if
you're just sucked into his story, and his story is amazing.
Yep, and that's the reason why I'm saying he's probably the biggest name you can do a biopic on, is because his story is just incredible. Also, Delroy Lindo's in this movie, who we love.
Amazing.
Angela Bassett.
Amazing.
Spike Lee makes an important appearance. Yeah, I mean, Debbie Mazur's in it, which is so much fun.
This is Spike Lee going all out.
Well, yeah, this is him doing a different style of movie, plus making it focal point a huge deal. This is sort of like the Solomon Northup, where he was a big name in back in those days, and Malcolm X is a huge name then, now, and forever. I mean, he's one of the reasons why things changed, yeah, I mean, you guys just have to see this movie. It's about Malcolm X, and Denzel is Malcolm X. I mean, you guys know the story, so just see it put together on film. I mean, there's nothing more to say about it. You have Spike Lee, you have you have Denzel. Enough said. Go see this movie.
I have a lot more to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll just wait until it pops up. But Malcolm X is my number 6. There's no reason why this shouldn't be on anybody's top 10 list.
Yeah, can you save the gross underscore for when I talk about it?
I'll save it.
Yes, sweet. Are you ready for my number 6? Because I think this will be on your list.
Let's hear it.
This is a very fun biopic. Of course, Sereno could count as a biopic, but because I see it as more of a fictionalized story, because it's based on a stage play, I decided to leave this one out and focus on a person who we all know, we all love. I mean, granted, he is still alive, but his legacy will just continue. I think he's at a point where he probably should retire from it now, but it's the glory days you should remember from this person, and the songs and like his signature looks. And this film stars Taron Egerton as Mr. Elton John, and it's Rocket Man.
It is on my list.
Nice,
Just a little.
nice. Nice, nice. We'll have to have a proper in-depth conversation when it gets to you. I know we've spoken about this before on our musicals list, but yeah, Rocket Man is so fun, so entertaining. Out of like Walk the Line and Blow Rap and Rocket Man, I've decided that I prefer Rocket Man out of them because it tried something new. The formula with Bow Rap and Walk the Line, I kind of paint my numbers, whereas granted, Elton John does Rocket Man does feel like that, but it kind of adds more of this musical kind of element to it that really just makes it stand out as a unique thing. You have Taron, Jamie Bell, Richard Madden, and Bryce Dallas Howard, who all put on smashing performances and really, really make this film stand out. But it's musical numbers and the dancing that really sells this movie.
Yes, it's almost a perfect movie in my opinion. But I'll have more to say later.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So my number 5. The entire movie isn't. Well, it is. The thing is that it doesn't take place over decades. It just takes place in one night. And this movie came out in 2020, directed by Regina King, and it's called One Night in Miami.
But Kingsley Ben-Adir is nothing compared to Denzel.
No, I know. But the thing is you have Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, Jim Brown, and Muhammad Ali all together in a room, also based off of a play.
And apparently it never happened.
Okay, so this is I mean, of course it happened. They're at the hotel doing the press conference afterwards. I mean, that actually happened. That's real feed you can watch.
Oh, it's just a story they're trying to tell that's fictional.
Well, they don't know exactly what was said inside the hotel, so but them being together on that night actually happened because they also had the press conference afterwards. But yeah, still has Malcolm X in it, so this is why I was really fluctuating between it. But I just think that the dynamic of these 4 characters together really worked. I think Regina King, being just like Spike Lee, getting the best performances that they can out of their actors.
Hasn't she worked with Spike Lee before?
It really paid off. I don't know. I mean, yeah, right. Of course.
Yeah, it sounds like something would work.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, she's a fantastic actress. This was her first shot at directing, and I think that she killed it. How can you be so good?
She was the first female director I nominated for the Fleming Awards.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it doesn't look like they have worked together. She's worked with John Singleton a lot.
I love John Singleton.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like they worked together. No. But she is in another biopic. I wonder if it's going to be on your list. But anyway, yeah, so Regina King, just phenomenal actress. And then, yeah, to kill it on your first directorial debut is awesome. I think all the actors in this are so good. Leslie Odom Jr., Eli Gorey, Kingsley Ben-Adir, and Aldous Hodge as the 4 gentlemen in the room. Yeah, Bo Bridges, Michael Imperioli, and yeah, I mean, it's just the 4 most powerful people at that time in one room together, having a conversation drinking, having
Leslie
ice
Odom
cream.
Jr. is the best out of the four.
Absolutely, Leslie Odom Jr. is one of our better actors that we have out there. But yeah, it's a fun movie, and because it's more accessible, meaning it's a lot less. It's only an hour and 50 minutes, whereas Malcolm X is 3 hours and 20 minutes. It's a little more rewatchability, but they're both fantastic films. But my number 5 is One Night in Miami.
You ready for my number 5?
7.1 on IMDb, and this was pandemic, so no box office budget. Yeah, straight. You can watch this on Amazon, and its Rotten Tomatoes score is 98% and 78% audience. So one of our higher ones for sure.
It has a good screenplay, and I have watched it once all the way through. But my second watch, I was kind of getting a bit bored. So I feel like it is a movie you just kind of watch once.
All right. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is a 3-hour-long movie, but I could watch this movie at least once or twice a year. This is about a man called Jordan Belfort. It's directed by Martin Scorsese and stars a brilliant cast with Leo, Jonah Hill, Margot Robbie, Matthew McConaughey, Carl Chandler, John Gerard, Anthony Artist, and John Favreau, and Rob Reiner. And Christine Milito from Palm Springs as well. Joanna Lumley. Can I name anybody else who is in this movie? Because this is a movie where Scorsese goes all out as he tells Belford's story. Granted, I don't really know a lot about business, but I like seeing Belford's story from start to finish, and I think it is a fantastic story this man has lived, and I just love the way how Scorsese makes a really good film about it, and even lets the actors make their own lines, and it's just perfect the way it is.
Did you say the title?
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes, The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes. So what's your thoughts on this film, Justin?
I don't know. I didn't
It's
like
better
it.
than The Big Short. Come on, it's more entertaining than The Big Short. That movie's boring.
Yeah, I mean they all kind of are just boring. Yeah,
How do you find a drug scene on Lude's boring?
Yeah, but that's only one part of the movie, and then yeah, I don't know. This one's tough for me. I need to give it a rewatch, and I appreciate it for what it was, but it's just 3 hours, and it really feels like 3 hours in my opinion. Matthew McConaughey is really, really good in it. I think Jonah Hill is killer in it. I didn't really buy Leo as much. He's kind of being like a cracked out Gatsby, and it just is like, oh, okay, well, we've kind of seen it. But no, it's nominated for 5 Oscars, so it's
and he
definitely
should have won Best Actor, but he lost to his co-star.
What do you mean?
He lost to Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But this was the first time I saw Margot Robbie, and she was fantastic.
Yeah, and the way that they utilized her was smart, because it caught my eye in a boring movie.
Did she get Best Supporting Actress nomination for it?
No.
She should have done. I would have given her a nomination for it.
She did do a really good job. But yeah, screenplay, picture, director, supporting role, and lead role. But yeah, I bet this is on a lot of other people's top 10 as well. 8.2 on IMDb, which is huge. One of our bigger ones. And then $100 million budget with $392 million rake in. So that made its money back. And Rotten Tomato. Yeah, that was our first time seeing Margot Robbie. She was great.
Because I saw About Time afterwards, and I've never seen an episode of Neighbours.
About Time.
Rachel McAdams movies. Yes, I've seen a lot of Rachel McAdams movies.
Margot Robbie's in that?
Yeah, she plays the first girl he dates.
Oh. 79% on Rotten Tomatoes, 83% audience. So pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Coming in at my number 4 is a movie that was just mentioned. I love musicals here at Worth the View Movies, so this was definitely in my top 5. Where it landed, moved around a bunch, but it is my number 4. It's Rocket Man. Taron Egerton is so good as Elton John. I don't even care for Elton John's music that much, and Taron Egerton made me a fan. I love him singing all of his songs. You know, I like that album that came out after this was released. Bryce Dallas Howard as his mom is such a different role from what we've seen from her. You know, we've seen her be bitchy, and that's fine.
Yeah, I thought with her dad being a good director, I thought she would be a good actress.
And she is. I think she does a really, really good job in most of her roles.
Maybe she should change to directing like her dad did.
Well, she's already directed some Mandalorian episodes, so I do think that that's something that she's going to do.
He was rumored to direct the Fantastic Four film.
Oh, wow.
The new one coming out.
Yeah. Only one Oscar nomination and win for Best Achievement in Music.
How did Taron not get nominated for Best Actor?
Dude, I don't know, because he looks just like him. He looks just like him. And the way he performs.
He's a chameleon.
And his movements, he's so good. But yeah, you don't know it's Taron Egerton anymore. He falls into being Elton John. And yeah, the other supporting characters in this are just so good. And it was one of my favorite movies from that year, hands down. This director also has done. He's doing Sherlock Holmes 3 coming out. He did Eddie the Eagle. He's also done a couple episodes of the TV show The Offer about The Godfather.
Nice. And he directed the rest of Bohemian Rhapsody because their other director was a shitbag.
Right. Yeah. It says he was producer on it, but we all know what happened there. But yeah, I do think that Taron Egerton was robbed. I think he's one of the better actors that we have out there, and to be able to portray what I talked about earlier, somebody who's still alive, and be able to pull it off is killer. And that's why Rocket Man is my number 4. 7.3 on IMDb. This was 40 million worldwide gross, 195.3. So that is huge money making. And it's Rotten Tomatoes, 89% tomato, 88% audience.
Right. My top 4 are widely considered some of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, well, we know one of them's in there.
Yes. So you want me to do number 4?
I mean, if you just want to bounce to number 1 first, that's cool. Yes, do
them in order. So my number 4 is by a man who is normally known for doing dark and mysterious things, but this one's not a dark and mysterious thing. Instead, it's one of the greatest biopics ever. It's about a tool that was invented and we all use and all rely on now, and it's called Facebook. This is about the man, the evil genius Mark Zuckerberg, played by Jesse Eisenberg, in his best performance ever, and it's The Social Network.
Yes, I knew this was going to be on your top
It's one of the greatest screenplays ever made. Aaron Sorkin is a genius at writing screenplays, and this is his best screenplay to date.
He's really good at writing screenplays and having other directors direct them.
Yes, yes. If somebody else directed Molly's Game or Trial of the Chicago 7, even though I do like their movies, they would have made for better movies. But yes, yes. Social Network with Fincher should have won Best Director over Tom Hooper. Because Fincher's directing, he's doing something different, he's doing something new, and he just does it so perfectly. He captures the scenes really well. I mean, Trent and Atticus do beautiful music to it, and Jesse Eisenberg. I mean, this was our introduction to Mr. Andrew Garfield, and he kills it. Justin Timberlake actually shows he's a better actor than singer in this, and you got Rooney Mara, who is also introduced to us, and next year she's leading Fincher's next film. So, is there anything this movie can't do?
Well, it did give us somebody that we shouldn't mention, or should we?
Who's that?
Army Hammer.
Oh, that twat.
Yep. Yeah. He's not even listed on the credits on the main page, so I think they're trying to bury him.
Yeah.
But yes, it did introduce us to a lot of these actors. Andrew Garfield, Rooney Mara, and Army Hammer. You know, he's up until what he's done now. But yeah, this is a great movie. This is really, really solid. I really like the coloring of this one because it's almost like your computer screen colors, or at least what it was like back in 2010.
Yeah.
And to have it be about something, again, he's alive still. This is one of the hugest platforms there ever is. Now now he's a mogul buying out other things like Instagram and making it, a meta universe. And to have this be where it all started,
It would be cool if they made a film about Twitter because I met you through Twitter.
Yeah. Well, now we have another. What'd you call him? Twat at the helm of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a really, really good film. I agree with what you said. Great writing, one of the best screenplays, and I do agree that Aaron Sorkin just needs to have other directors direct his writings. But yeah, David Fincher is one hell of a director, and this is actually a little bit different for him. He, it just didn't seem like something that he would want to do.
Do you think that films like Seven and Fight Club are better?
Well, it's just not. Yeah, I think they might be better, but they're also so different than this one. There's no, real fighting. But Andrew Garfield gave one of the best performances of that year, in my opinion, in the supporting role for sure. And for him to come out swinging and kill it on his first go is awesome. Yeah, great pick. This was on a lot of people's lists.
What was the score?
All right. The 7.8 IMDb. I know this did really well in theaters. 40 million, and worldwide gross is 224.9 million. And for
What's good about The Social Network? It looks like a film you're not going to enjoy, but by the end of it, you're fully entertained by it.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things happening beyond just Facebook stuff. I mean, there's some psychos in this movie. 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, 87% for audience.
Nice.
Okay, here comes my number 3. Continuing on with the musical world, because I just love musicals here at Worth Review Movies. It's also one of my favorite movies. Definitely one of my favorite biopics. Had these other 2 movies not come out, this would have been my number 1. To me, this is the best performance that I have seen by definitely Reese Witherspoon, but also Joaquin Phoenix until Joker came around, I guess. This movie is called Walk the Line.
Which
Came out
I
in
watched
2005.
today for the second time.
Directed by James Mangold. I loved this movie when it came out. I went back and saw it again in theaters. I do think Reese has never been better. She put out the performance of a lifetime, and like she won't even ever come close to it ever again.
Do you like
and
stuff like Legally Blonde though?
she's fine. I mean, yeah, so those are fine. Like if you want to do that for the rest of your life, but if you want to win Oscars and give performances like this, you got to keep doing it. Where she did.
Can't people just do it for the fun of acting? And not
Well,
awards?
yeah, you can. But I'm saying, like, if you can be this good all the time, why wouldn't you just want to be this good all the time, right? Like Joaquin Phoenix has never stopped trying to be as good as he was in Walk the Line. He's never stopped.
Even in Come On, he pulled a brilliant performance. It's just
every single time.
I acted him.
Yeah, every single time he comes out swinging. This is nominated for 5 Oscars, only one Best Supporting Actor or Best Performer by a Lead Actress. This is Reese. Joaquin was nominated, film editing, sound design, sound mixing, and costume design. I don't even care. Johnny Cash is a huge name, but I don't even care about it as much as I care about how well Joaquin Phoenix did playing Johnny Cash. He sings great. He sounds just like him. And the story of Johnny Cash is an incredible story. You know, he's a drug addict. He cheats on his wife, has a lot of kids that doesn't care about him. But if we just know him for the man, the singer, he's incredible. And Johnny Cash was around the same time as Elvis, which is a biopic that comes out this Friday. Also starring Jennifer Goodwin. Robert Patrick's in this as well. Yeah, I just think it's a fantastic film directed by James Mangold, who did Ford v Ferrari, which I don't really care for, but, you know, also Logan. So we're happy
Ford
about
versus Ferrari would be an honourable mention for me.
No. Yeah, I mean, this is one of my all-time favorite movies, one of my favorite musicals, one of my favorite biopics.
Wouldn't it count as a musical?
Because there's the music in it. It's like
but it's not like Rocket Man when it becomes a song and dance number and feels like a Broadway musical. He just sings a couple of times. It's like in Bo Rap.
No, he sings like 12 times in the movie, like enough for an actual album. Like if you do that, then yeah, this is a musical.
Fair enough. I need to see Ray. I've not seen Ray before.
Yeah, see, that's the Regina King movie that I said she was in a biopic. But yeah, I mean, this isn't considered a musical, but it's. I mean, if you're singing 12 songs in it, I think that's because they're not speak singing like a lot. I mean, yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, 7.8 on IMDb. Box office 28 million, worldwide gross 186.7.
And don't you feel like the plot is basically the same as Rocket Man and Bohemian Rhapsody, just written different?
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of biopics are kind of that way. They're a little bit formulaic. It's about how you
They print off a template on the internet and then they fill out the gaps.
Exactly. 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, 90% for audience.
Nice. I think you'll be happy with my number 3 because it's from one of your favorite all-time filmmakers.
Yay, Mr. Steven Spielberg.
Yes, and this is a film that was made 1 year before I was born. It stars Mr. Liam Neeson as Oscar Schindler, the man that saved a lot of Jews from the Holocaust in his biopic, Schindler's List.
Yeah. Now, this is the 3-hour movie.
Yeah, but it's one of the most beautiful movies of all time.
Yeah, this is a 3-hour movie I can stand, you know, like, doesn't feel like 3 hours to me.
Yes. It's even though it's depressing and sad, it's beautiful all the way through. It really tells the story that not all German people were bad in World War II. I mean, Ralph, the way how he plays that horrible, horrible, vile human being is just perfect. It's just a perfect role for Ralph Fiennes, who's amazing at transforming into these horrible, horrible people, like with Voldemort and the character he voices in Wallace and Gromit, and he can just do it to a T. And in Schindler's List, he just steals the show by giving this amazing performance as this horrible person. And obviously, this is shot beautifully. John Williams' score is beautiful. The editing is fantastic because I like how they make everything black and white apart from the little girl's red coat. And I think I still want to know how they do that, especially for 93 light effects.
Yeah, well, this is the same year as Jurassic Park, so I'm sure Spielberg figured out how to do anything he wanted.
How did he have time to make two of the greatest films of all time in 1 year?
Yeah, I don't know. Nominated for 12 Oscars, they won 7. Didn't win any acting awards, unfortunately.
Should have won Best Actor and Supporting Actor, in my opinion.
Yeah, but did win for set direction, editing, original score, director, picture, screenplay, cinematography.
Well, at least it won all the other deserves it, other awards it deserved.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this movie. I love Spielberg. I think being in black and white, just like you said, and have it be 3 hours could hinder a lot of people from watching this, but it definitely works.
Other good biopics from Spielberg are Catch Me If You Can and Lincoln.
Yep. He definitely likes his biopics. This is number 6, the top-rated 6th movie on IMDb. 9.0 on IMDb is its score. Box office budget is $22 million. Worldwide gross $322 million.
And I heard they banned popcorn from when they were showing it because it would make people sick.
Interesting. Audience score 97%. Rotten Tomatoes score 98%.
Well, as I said, it's one of the greatest movies of all time.
It's definitely up there. All right. So my number 2, we are continuing on with music and musicals. This movie just came onto my list yesterday because, of course, this is a biopic, but it is a musical. It may not be the most truthful or input of all the truths of somebody who we're watching the entire movie about, but damn, do I have a good time watching this movie. I have the soundtrack. I will put it on right now and watch it and love it. It came out in 2017. It's one of the greatest musicals there's ever been, starring Hugh Jackman, and it's The Greatest Showman.
I thought you'd say Cyrano then.
No, Cyrano, again, is a part of the other period piece stuff. It's part of that. But I could say the same about almost all the same words about Cyrano as I can about The Greatest Showman. But so The Greatest Showman, Hugh Jackman is such a great actor. He put as much effort into this and singing as he did into being Wolverine.
He's better at singing in this than Les Miserables.
Oh, yeah. Plus, it's way more fun than Les Miserables. I mean, way more fun. Michelle Williams is also in this, also Bay, Zendaya, Zac Efron, Rebecca Ferguson. And then you also have Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who was the newest Candyman. But it's just, you have this whole slew of just great, fun sub-characters who are a part of his circus, you know? So this is the biopic of P.T. Barnum, of Barnum and Bailey's circus. This is how he started off. This is, you know, he always wanted the best for his wife, and so he wants grand things just like his wife's dad has, and so he decides that he's going to create a place where people can see interesting and weird things, like a bearded lady who's a great singer, or the tallest man in the world, or the fattest man in the world,
It
or
kind of annoys me that
Napoleon.
they're not as a member of the disabled community. I am a little bit annoyed they're not played by disabled people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but can you dance like this and sing like this?
Well, maybe somebody else with autism can.
Yes, and so they really need to search out and such. But I think they just went the easy route by picking people who audition for it. But I agree with you. I do think that they should uh, you know cast people by what their situation is. But there's a lot of heart in this
It's
movie.
just when I watched American Horror Story, the fourth season, they were all played by disabled actors, and I kind of liked that.
Yeah, no, I know. I like it too. I think it should happen more. But yeah, great music in this. There's a lot of heart. There's love. Yeah, I mean it's just so damn good. The director of this was also a producer on Rocket Man, so he knows where his strengths are. He's also been like a director of music videos and stuff, so he definitely likes his music. He is doing another biopic musical, a music movie called Better Man about the singer Robbie Williams that's coming out. So he loves musicals and music in movies. But yeah, I love The Greatest Showman. I love it. I love it. I love it. And that's why it's my number 2.
Excellent choice. So my number 2 goes back onto your list with Malcolm X.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, did you do you did the
No.
grossing for Great Showman,
Oh, for
right?
Greatest Showman? No. 7.5 on IMDb. Box office is 84 million. Worldwide gross is $435.7 million. So that is a hit if I've ever seen one. And then a Rotten Tomatoes score 56% on Rotten Tomatoes, but 86% for the audience score. So
Yeah.
there you have it.
Yes. So going back to Malcolm X. Yeah, I agree with everything you said, but nobody does this better than Denzel. And what I love about Denzel is that he puts power and emotion to his performances, and that's why I was very, very upset about his Macbeth performance this year. And his Malcolm X one is just so flawless and so transitional. You kind of forget you're watching Denzel. You think you're watching Malcolm X. It's just the way how Spike Lee just brings it all out and just makes it epic. Like this is if you're going to make a biopic about somebody like Malcolm X, do it the way Spike Lee did. This is a guy you should be looking into, not copying what line all the time. Look at Malcolm X. If you're going to make a biopic, make it as big and epic as this one. And I just feel like a lot more filmmakers and future filmmakers should look at this movie because it is a masterpiece. It's just my number 1 is one of my favorites of all time, and I didn't realize until the other day it was a biopic, but I'll reveal that in a second. But number 2 is one of the greatest movies of all time, and it's Malcolm X.
Yeah, just done by the best. 7.7 on IMDb, $33 million budget, and $48 million box office. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 89%, audience score 91. And yeah, I mean, Malcolm X is top. I may have to switch that with One Night in Miami and have it be my number 5.
Yeah, well, think about it. The Malcolm X has a better Malcolm X.
Well, yeah, he's one of the best actors there ever was. So, all right. Well, my number 1 has already been said a long time ago, but it's definitely it's one of my top 5 favorite movies ever. I think the performance by Mr. Christian Bale is one of the best performances I've ever seen. He had me laughing so hard in theaters because of just how idiotic he can be. Plus, Mark Wahlberg gives a pretty damn good performance in a time where he, didn't. So I just think that 2010's directed David O. Russell movie, The Fighter, is my number one of the best movies. I mean, when I don't watch any trailers, so I didn't even really know what this was going in, and then coming in and seeing what it was and how it went about it was just so well done. Plus, this is a little bit different than a David O. Russell sort of movie. He doesn't necessarily do these sort of not fun movies, right? Because there's a lot of non-fun going on here, because Christian Bale is a drug addict, Mark Wahlberg is a struggling boxer, and the reason why is because he's being trained by his drug addict brother, who's also a boxer. Also starring Amy Adams and Melissa Leo. Melissa Leo and Christian Bale winning Best Supporting at Oscars, respectively, and they both deserve it. I've just never seen anybody be better than Christian Bale as Dickie Eklund. I just think it's one of the best performances I've ever seen. I love it when he's hiding from his mom and he jumps out the window. It's like a 2-story window, and he jumps onto a heap of trash. It was just so freaking funny. Plus, to have a boxing movie be entertaining all the way through is kind of hard to do, because there's a lot of lulls that can happen. But you're in the ring with them. David O. Russell makes you feel, like you're right there with them. And just one thing that you can't do is call Amy Adams an MTV girl. Don't call me an MTV girl. My number one is The Fighter.
Film. I love her performance. Does her character has the same last name as me?
Oh, yeah. To me, this is a perfect movie. 7.8 on IMDb. Box office 25 million. Worldwide gross is 129.1 million, and Rotten Tomatoes scores 91%.
And we get to see Christian Bale work again with David O. Russell for Amsterdam this year, which I'm really looking forward to, because he's got his biggest cast he's working with today.
Well, he was also in American Hustle, so they like to work together.
Yeah, but we don't. That movie is quite cheesy and corny compared to The Fighter.
Well, no, I know, and that's what I was saying. That's why The Fighter is so different than what David O. Russell does, because it's usually sort of cheeky and weird like that. But
I love the Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah, again, cheeky. Three Kings, cheeky. Let's see what else this guy has done.
Joy's brilliant.
Joy's pretty good. Also biopic. Flirting with the Disaster. I haven't seen Spanking the Monkey. I mean, get out of here. I Heart Huckabees.
I keep meaning to watch that one.
It's pretty good. He definitely likes working with the same actors. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Margot Robbie, Anya Taylor-Joy, Christian Bale, Timothy Olyphant, Robert De Niro, Zoe Saldana, Mike Myers, Rami Malek, Michael Shannon, Jesus, Taylor Swift, John David Washington, Chris Rock, and Matthias Schoenaerts is in his next movie. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see, because he's working with the Children Men cinematographer and the woman that did the Joker score.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So he's got a powerhouse team behind the film, so it might be a good film, I'm hoping.
Yeah, 70-30s. Nice. Okay, let's hear your number one.
Right, so my number one is a biopic who isn't on a famous guy, but is on an interesting guy. And this is one of my favorite gangster films of all time. It's made by one of the greatest film directors of all time, Mr. Martin Scorsese, and it's Goodfellas, starring the late, great Ray Liotta. This movie is about Henry Hill and his life in the mob and how he goes through the mob and becomes obviously addicted to cocaine. He obviously gets a lot of people killed. He kills a lot of people himself. And this is all based on a true story. And he ended up going into witness protection after all this. But seeing this guy's life unravel in such an entertaining way is brilliant, because of how Martin Scorsese directs the camera. And the soundtrack is just perfect. It's just on the soundtrack you want. Like nothing's ever boring because of how like interesting this story is. And obviously, De Niro does De Niro. I don't think this is one of his great best performances, but he really suits the character he played. But if it wasn't for Mr. Joe Pesci, there would be no movie. He is the star of the show. Because I feel like with Ray Liotta, he was always pushed aside. He could never ever elevate a movie like he did with this one. And obviously, Goodfellas has just always had a string on me. It's been one of my favorite films since I was 15. Never grew up with it. I love watching it. I love introducing it to other people. It's one of the greatest movies of all time by a long shot. And you know, I do not have anything bad to say about this movie. Have you seen this one, Justin?
Karen. Yes, I have, and I don't really care for it too much.
What's your flaws with Goodfellas? It's one of the greatest movies ever made.
I just don't. I don't like it. I mean, it's a good film, but I just don't like. I don't like the whole concept of it all. And
do you like crime and stuff?
It's all right. I mean, one of the taglines is, as far back as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a gangster.
Yes, that's one of the most iconic lines in the movie.
But no, why? Why do you want to be a gangster? You already know that it's a life of killing, drugs, and prison. So
it's because the gangsters were cool back then.
Yeah. To me, they're just, like you're a gang, which means you can't do things yourself. Right? Be a man. Be a man. Stand up for yourself. You don't need a whole gang. But
and then you become the head of the gang once you rise to the top, like Scarface.
Yeah, I see. Even that one, I'm not into it. I'm not into it. I don't even think I've seen it all the way through. But yes, no, I know this movie's iconic. But it sounds like Leo and Martin Scorsese are your favorites for biopics, as far as like having them all in here. Debbie Mazur's also in this movie, plus Paul Sorvino. Joe Pesci won for Best Supporting Actor.
Samuel L. Jackson's in this movie.
Also nominated for Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Director, Best Writing, and Best Film Editing.
So I take it you're one of the rare people on the planet who prefer Dances with Wolves.
Rare people? I'm a part of the same the same committee that chose it to win Best Picture. So
you are. You have a secret time machine and you travel back in time to make sure Dances with Wolves won Best Picture.
Well, I was alive during this time, so I was just a part of the committee at 5 years old.
How could you watch Goodfellas when you were 5? It's an 18-rated movie.
Oh, my parents did not care. But if we repeated anything they said, that's when they cared. Like,
so you actually did beat up a guy and put him in the trunk, they wouldn't care then.
Well, yeah, my dad said if I ever threw the first punch, then he would punch me. So I never would do it. And then also, what were we just talking about? I forget. What were you just saying right before the punching?
I said about Dances with Wolves beating Goodfellas.
Yeah. Also, yeah, we were allowed to watch all those movies, but if we repeated anything, we got in trouble. So, like, in the movie City Slickers, they used the C word. And then my brother immediately called me that. And my dad sent him straight to his room. It's like, well, Dad, kind of it's your fault, you know?
I got banned from watching Dodgeball when I was a kid because I repeated words from it.
Yeah. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Goodfellas 8.7 on IMDb. Box office, this budget was $25 million. Worldwide gross is $47 million. 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, 97% audience score. So
you're not a rebel like I am, are you?
A rebel? Wow. There's some things about me I would think that you think that I'm a rebel. But I've definitely calmed myself and have been trying to be a better person than sometimes people can be.
You've always seemed like a sound bloke to me.
My man, thanks for saying that. I'm glad. All right, let's count them down. My number 10 is Foxcatcher.
My number 10 is The Revenant.
Coming in at number 9, I have I, Tonya.
My number 5 is a tie between The Fighter and King Richard.
My number 8 is The Pursuit of Happiness.
My number 8 is The Favourite.
My number 7 is 12 Years a Slave.
My number 7 is The Phantom of the Open, a little bit more light-hearted.
I'm going to move one from the other and move One Night in Miami to my number 6.
My number 6 is still Rocketman.
My number 5, which was my number 6, is Malcolm X, because it is a better film.
My number 5 is the second Leo and the first Martin Scorsese film on this list, The Wolf of Wall Street.
My number 4 with my musical block is Rocket Man.
My number 4 is one of the greatest movies ever written. It's The Social Network.
My number 3, best performances, is Walk the Line.
My number 3 is one of the greatest films of this director's career, Schindler's List.
My number 2 is one of my favorite musicals of all time, about P.T. Barnum. It's The Greatest Showman.
My number 2 is a downright masterpiece that more people need to watch. It's Malcolm X.
My number 1 is one of my top 5 all-time favorite movies, best performance I've ever seen by any actor, and it's The Fighter.
My number 1 is a personal favourite of mine, and that's Goodfellas.
Nice. Awesome. Well, this is going a little long. Any movie recommendations this week?
Yes, I do. I watched Lightyear yesterday. I highly recommend that. But what I want to recommend this week is a new film on Netflix, Spiderhead. A lot of people have been giving this film slack, but it's by the same team that made Top Gun Maverick, and obviously they put their hard effort into that, and they've also put in the hard effort to this. Chris Hemsworth kills it in this role. He needs to play more villainous roles. He kills it. This is my favourite performance of his outside Thor, and I'm obviously looking forward to seeing All of Them Thunder, so it's nice to see him as a little warm-up film. And Miles Teller, God, he's gotten so much better. I think now he's, after making that dud of Fantastic Four film, he's always trying to get better and better, and God, he was so perfect in this movie. He'll always be the best in Whiplash, but he's still like trying to bounce his way into Hollywood, and so far he's killing it right now. I can tell this was made during COVID because of the restricted sets, but they use it to its advantage and try and make this really good thriller film. And we can all watch on Netflix. It's a most popular movie at the moment, and I'm going to give this, and I recommend you check this out to see some great performances and some great directing.
Also director of Top Gun Maverick. He did only The Brave, Oblivion, and Tron Legacy. So he's got some big ones out there.
Yes.
Yes. Also, the girl who's in it, Journey Smollett, she's
Birds of Prey.
Yeah, but she was also in Full House. All right. Actually, this will be fun. I've seen Spiderhead. I just watched it last night, and I don't have much good things to say about it, so I'm not going to say anything about it. But I will say something that I enjoyed a lot more is also on Netflix, and Chris Hemsworth is in this movie because his wife is the star of this movie, and it's called The Interceptor. And
I've heard terrible things about it.
It's not great, but it's a lot more fun and a better action movie than Spiderhead is a movie, in my opinion. It stars Elsa Pataky, and she is Russia wants to shoot off all these missiles, and she is in the middle of the ocean as the interceptor. So if missiles do come by, they have 24 minutes from the time that it leaves Russia to where it will hit down in America, but only 12 minutes do they have to intercept, because that's when they're going to go right over her. So they only have 12 minutes. And of course, this place gets raided and attacked, and she has to be a one-army person to take down these terrorists. And yeah, the writing is shit, but the action in this movie is very high frequency and is definitely worth the view. So go check out Interceptor, especially if you still want to see some Chris Hemsworth, because he does pop up in it. He is one of the producers on the movie. Let's see. This director has not done anything else. So this was his first movie. But for real, if you guys have HBO Max, you should go check out the Janes documentary, because it's really good about the Janes, who are ladies who helped other ladies find a way to get abortions in a time when it was illegal. True story. Yeah, it's pretty heavy, but I think right now, with the way that some states are voting and stuff, it's really important to see like how it even got to where you guys.
But it should be a choice. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'm pro-choice.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pro your body, your choice.
Exactly.
And it's called The Janes on HBO Max. It's a great documentary, so go check that out. All right. Well, this has been a fun show. What are we doing next week?
Next week we can do something different. I'm off to London to see Green Day
Nice.
this over the weekend, so I'll have a little good think when we come back. But if you have any ideas, give me a shout.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we still need to do courtrooms. I know we're waiting on somebody to come.
Yeah, especially now Johnny Depp's one is court case.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that sounds good. Enjoy Green Day.
Thank you, and I hope you have a good weekend too.
Yeah, thanks. Let us know what your favorite biopics are down in the comments. Let us know if you want, if you have a topic for us that you want to discuss. You can follow me at Worth the View Movies on all the things: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, where I do minute reviews about movies, because we have such short attention spans, plus lots of other fun stuff. And we do longer conversations about movies that you can find on YouTube as well. Worth the View Movies.
Nice. And I'm on robbiesreviews.co.uk. That's robbiesreviews.co.uk. I've been changing the website a bit. I've added a new category into the Fleming Awards, best voice acting in an animated movie. I'm pretty sure you've seen it on my Facebook, Justin.
Yeah, I voted.
Yep, and I revealed the winners today. You can check them out on the website, and it will be a category in the Fleming Awards coming up this year.
Yeah, anyone so far that you like?
I'm really liking Chris Evans in Lightyear. I thought The Girl from Belle was really good. I know that's a 2021 film for you in Japan, but it only came out in February this year, so still counts for me.
Yeah.
And I really liked all three of the lads in Apollo 13, Glenn, Zachary, and Jack. So it's going to be hard to pick between the three. I'm going to have to give it a rewatch.
Apollo 10.5.
Apollo 10.5, that was the one.
Apollo 13, Tom Hanks, which is considered a biopic. So
yes. That's one of the films we need to discuss on here. We need to discuss Apollo 13. So I've been meaning to rewatch that film in years, and I've been wanting to try and talk more about like movies in depth, like we did for RRR and Children of Men and Back to the Future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
So maybe that can be one of ours.
I love it. Sounds good.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and let us know if you are watching. Tell us in the comments. Say, hey, I'm watching. I like you guys. Right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And until next time.
Bye, Justin.
Later, Rob. Bye, guys.
Later.